Hi, I'm back. Well, as you can see, I haven't been gone. I've been just doing other things, like finding cool yellow feathers, which got a little folded up in my little walking bag. Um, it is this cool yellow feather I found when I went walking. I'll post some pictures of that, of my walk. Took myself for a walk the other, I guess it was the day before yesterday. I posted a little bit about some of the things we've been going through, but yeah, I just kind of took a break from reading for a moment so I could just work with some things that I wanted to work with. And I'm going to try to get a little closer to you because I can see that this lighting is a little weird. And with me being that far, I think this will probably work. And then when I put the camera down, yeah, that looks like that'll probably work. All right. So again, yeah, I still haven't figured out the lighting. I'm still visiting my parents. I've got about a week here, and then I'm going to be heading back to Texas. But I got a lovely visit from my brother and my niece yesterday, and so a part of almost all of the family has been able to get together. Just a few missing people, but we hold them in our hearts. It's not easy for everybody to be here. Everybody's got their own things to do and their own stories to live. And when it's time for everybody to be together, they come together. I'm sorry, I'm doing weird house cleaning on my screen. I'm talking to you. But yeah, when it's time for everybody to be together, we'll be together. So, but one of the neatest things was that my niece is starting to do tarot cards, and she got a deck from her mom, Stephanie, that I have always kind of wanted, and this is one done by Biddy Tarot, and this is a who I highly respect, and I don't reference actually often enough in my readings, but I definitely recommend this. And I've never read from this deck, but over the years I've referenced that website, and it's always been a huge resource to me of learning. And their whole system is really lovely place to learn for those who want to choose that way to learn how to read tarot, because we all are on our own paths. That's very clear. That's one of the messages that has been very resonant with me actually over the past year, but one that, we come to in stages of understanding, and are in various stages of accepting, you know. I recognize that there are things that there are very important features and stalwart. There are very important experiences in my life I would not have had if I did not make some choices that are also would also seemingly be incongruent, or let's say are also would be seemingly in opposition to other choices that are also important to me, but those things would not be important. They would not have come into my life and have taken me into the kind of experiences that I know aren't part of my life purpose if I had made other choices. You know what I mean? But they aren't, those choices were not necessarily, it's not that they don't go with, they go along with, they kind of run in parallel and they interweave. So we go back to that conversation about interdependency that we've talked about in the past. So yeah, there are things that I love in my life that if I had not stepped away for a certain time, there are other things that I love a lot that would have never come in and would not end, and that actually are a huge part of who I am today. Does that ring true for you? Where does that ring true? The concept of ebb and flow is something I think we understand in theory, or practicing it is a completely different thing. Completely different thing. Well, here's, aha, that's so funny. The King of Cups is a card that flipped over in the deck. Speaking of ebb and flow, is this like two cards together? It is. These are really new cards. I did shuffle them a little bit. I was just like playing with them. I was talking to my dad. King of Cups and Ace of Wands. So yeah, this concept of ebb and flow. And the King of Cups is certainly one who is the master of ebb and flow, right? Knowing how to like work with the energies as they flow, flow around, and knowing how to navigate them and channel them as the passions come up, as inspiration comes up, to choose courses of work, or courses, following heart, or the divine flame, the divine inspiration. What, he's going to take that kind of energy and know exactly what to do with it, and know how to like incorporate it. Yeah, sometimes we have to, this is a guy who certainly knows how to step back from the things that he loves, because he's not going to let himself get so emotionally entangled that he can't possibly, incorporate, bring some new kind of fire like into his life. He's gonna know exactly how to like step out, help manage, and also like work with the people, work with the various energies and the emotions and the spiritual impulses of those around him, and to master his own spiritual impulses in order to bring in new stuff, in order to, I see he's got a fish on his breast. You think about the Christ story of feeding the 5 loaves and the 7 fishes, right? He's going to be able to do that, and he's going to call in some more fishermen boats, and call fish right to him. You see that one jumping out of the water. It's really neat. In order to, bring inspiration, bring new ideas. It's more, the ones aren't necessarily a suit of ideas. That's more the swords, thoughts and ideas and mental kind of energy, and is the suit of swords. But this suit of wands, kind of, it is like that divine spark of an idea, inspiration, something that really lights the heart of fire. Gets us going, gets us motivated, and gets those ideas and those juices going. And when you combine things of the heart with, with spirituality and emotion, that, you definitely can start to like, even though I'm coming overriding the naysaying of the mind, the voices of the mind that say, no, you can't, no, you can't, no, you can't. This is somebody who can, keep it in balance. So yes, you can. That kind of thing. I'm going to keep shuffling. I'm not going to, I feel the need to definitely go ahead and keep shuffling. So, ooh, all the cards are going everywhere. Are we not going to keep shuffling? What's going on? We're just going to keep talking about those guys. Maybe we'll just leave those cards out. I feel like we probably should. Oops, gosh. Okay, well, cards are just jumping out, but this is like a lot of cards, so we're just going to keep shuffling. Oh my goodness. I've had a wonderful visit. Speaking of divine inspiration, this was something that I, really felt compelled and called to do last year at this time. And actually, it was probably last July, maybe last August. And yeah, in a year, I did manage to get here, and I made it a nice long visit. It'll probably be a long time before I get an opportunity to travel. Travel isn't easy for me these days, but I am so grateful that I did it, and I'm so grateful that I've, just stayed put. I've not gone, I've been visiting people, but in a very small radius, and I've been, just taking trips to the beach, small little afternoon trips, and it's been low-key and lovely. Low-key and lovely. Yeah, baby, yeah. All right, so what are the energies that we have to deal with for Tuesday, August 17th? Happy birthday, baby girl. I didn't realize. I was like, all of a sudden, it's not like I didn't realize my daughter's birthday is tomorrow. I do. So speaking of, very important thing in my life. And I realized that if I had not made some choices, I would not have her in my life. you know. Right. What are the messages for Tuesday? I'm not going to take those cards because I was thinking about my daughter. What messages for the collective for Tuesday, August 17th? Happy birthday, Anna. And happy birthday to all the people born on August 17th out there. Happy birthday to many of us who in this Leo season feel reborn. And for those of you who are just starting to maybe get the inkling of that feeling, we welcome you. Gosh, these cards are a little hard to shuffle. I keep shuffling now. Like I shuffled them lightly when they arrived today. They literally just arrived today. But I didn't really mess with them too much. I just kind of shuffled them. I had a yoga class I taught this evening online. And hung out with my parents, did some reading of a book, Alan Watts, the book On the Taboo of Knowing Who You Are. All right, and what are the messages for Tuesday, August 17th? We have two that have come out, the King of Cups, the Ace of Wands. They came out together. Balancing divine inspiration. Yeah, divine inspiration. And in this deck, the Ace of Wands is considered a #1 card. Huh, interesting. The court cards are never numbered. They are. That's a new thing for me. I've never seen that, but they're. If you ever want to do numerology with the tarot, they will be numbered. They will. You can count them as just a #1. All right. Oh gosh, there's a lot of cards here still, so I'm not going to take those. Yeah, these are new cards. We have the King of Cups and the Ace of Wands. Those have come out together. We'll see what else we have here. In a reasonable amount, Spirit, I ask you, Spirit, yes. And Spirit gives you just what you want when you ask for it. The Ten of Pentacles. What a wonderful, wonderful card to come out with the King and the Ace of Wands. The Ten of Pentacles is a card of, having all the things, right in the material world. So when we are harnessing, when we're doing this, when we're bringing in, when we are able to harness our passions and, in a way that they're not either being, like I said, that they're not like coming in and, sort of running everything ablaze to your dismay. You're actually able to use that kind of energy to, not to, get your emotions all out of control. You're able to utilize them in a way, new opportunities, new ideas, new inspirations, new motivations, new paths to take your job, your relationship, your any kind of endeavor that you want to work on in the long term. That's something that you're taking from just a seed, just a singular branch, and maybe you're like, replanting it somewhere else. Like sometimes I'm getting an imagination here of when you take a plant that you're maybe uprooting it and you're putting it into a pot of water, and sometimes we have to put some, maybe a part of a plant that you've clipped off or maybe has broken off. You put it into some water until it grows roots. And then you then take it at that point and you plant it into soil once it grows some roots and can, you can kind of tend it in soil, and then it starts to, get nourishment from the soil, which is going to be more nutritious than, it's going to have more nutrients in it than just the water. But it can start with that spirit, and it can start with that essence, that nourishment of what's available in the water in order to grow. But then once you transplant it then into a bigger pot, sometimes we've outgrown our pots, or, outgrown a certain situation, or you just kind of transplant it into something else so it can grow into something different, and then you've transformed it. right? Either transformed its environment, you've given it to something else, you've taken it somewhere else entirely, um, or you're just transforming its situation all the way around. And so, again, you're just, whatever your situation is, you're taking it into some kind of new arena, and you're breathing a new life of spirit into it, and you're shepherding in a way that a king would do. And again, I'm really struck by the kind of like Jesus vibe I'm getting from this King of Cups card, because he is, again, I went back to that. I talked about the seven loaves and the fishes and talking about nourishment. How are you feeding your dreams? Are you feeding them good, good soil? So the Pentacles cards comes up, and that would mean like some kind of, this is earth energy. Pentacles are earth energy. So what are we taking? And with good leadership, we're shepherding. Jesus was considered a shepherd. I mean, yes, he was a carpenter, but and he was a builder, but he, that was his trade. But when he was growing up, and his earthly father Joseph was a carpenter, but Jesus was considered a shepherd. He was, shepherding his flock. Anyone who's in good leadership is shepherding a flock. How are you taking? Any good shepherd's going to be able to take his flock to good and new soil. Something, take his livelihood, take his dreams, where are you taking your life? We want to take it into places where we're going to be nourished. We don't want to just, we want to put it into good, rich soil, such as the Ten of Pentacles. This is the height of the suit of not the suit of Pentacles, but all the numbers. You start with a two, or actually the ace, right? We have the Ace of Wands. You have an Ace of Pentacles two, and then it goes all the way up to a 10. Well, this is all of them. This is all of your earthly desires have come to a wonderful fruition. You have a beautiful growing tree. We've got a castle in the background, a lovely family, and it has, there's multiple generations that even have, they're well enough off to even have pets. There's a dog represented here, and you can see all these pineapples in the hem of this man's cloak, this older gentleman's cloak. So there's longevity, there's legacy. That, what we're planting now, if we're channeling our emotions well, and if we take our time and we are in good leadership, our ships are coming in. You see the ship in the King of Cups. Our ships are coming in. I spoke to this in a picture of a beautiful sailboat I saw off Beavertail here in Rhode Island. And go back to that, our ships are coming in. Go back to what I said, maybe a week or so ago. I think it was about 10 days ago. Our ships are coming in. We are in good leadership. And when we are, we are cultivating, not only a present, like what's happening in the present, but what we're doing is actually cultivating a legacy of comfort, a legacy of beauty, a legacy of where everybody is taken care of. And, like this king takes care of everything. That Jesus Christ consciousness, he was doing things in a way that was going to take care of everybody, right? Teaching us to take care of ourselves. He was not just taking in and, doing all of this. He was giving us the skills to cultivate this kind of thing for ourselves. He didn't come to, be worshipped. That was never his thing. It was to teach us how to ascend and to, behave in ways that would be able to help us take care of ourselves and to grow and to, yeah, it's taken us 2,000 years and we're still working hard at it, right? But, we're seeing the fruits of our labor after many millennia. So that's good stuff too. Awesome. And the pineapple. Oh yeah, the pineapple is a symbol of friendship and hospitality, by the way. I'll go back to speaking to that. Friendship and hospitality. So not only, we're in a place where we feel abundant and we can open our arms to everybody. We're not just opening our arms to, those who we know. We have enough to share. We aren't feeling like we're coming from a place of lack, and we're not being miserly with the things that we have. We're, open to sharing. We're recognizing that oneness. We're recognizing that we all come from one divine source. Again, back to that Ace of Wands energy. The Ace of Wands, there's a castle in that one too. Did you see that? I'm noticing that as well. For such a simple deck, there's a lot of imagery here to kind of work off, or there's a lot of things that are jumping out at me. And I do see also that the King of Cups has, all the water, but do you see that there's a lot of a water element that's going on in the Ace of Wands too? You see that? Even though that castle is on land, there's you see the water is there too, so it's flowing, and there is some kind of like idea that's being transplanted and revitalized. Even there may be a broken branch that has, something maybe that you thought had been broken, that, just needs to be put in a little pot of water and tended to quietly in the water, by nourished by spirit, by our emotions, having our emotions flow through it and being a very honest way and in a very loving way, and tended to and allowed to grow new roots so it can be potted into something a lot more nourishing than maybe where it came from. Like I said, there are things in my life that I wouldn't have if I had just stayed stuck in one kind of like way, and if I didn't take some risks. I know it's scary, but sometimes we have to transplant ourselves, put ourselves in spirit, put ourselves in water, let enough of a root grow that we can pot ourselves in something new, a bigger pot, and then we can see what will grow. We've got one more card turning. Ten of Swords. So there is a Ten of Swords. So yeah, like I said, that can be scary. That can be scary. You may feel as though something has to die, and it's not a death card, but it's another 10 card, and it's another final and finality to the I'm gonna go ahead and angle the camera down here so we can look at all of these. It is a card of finality, and then there is a Five of Cups here. So there is that all of this is afoot. We have a lot of options here. So we've talked a lot about these two cards, and then this one card came out, and then we have a Five of Cups at the bottom of the deck, and a Six of Cups, and we also have the Magician and a Nine of Wands. So I've got some defensive energy coming in. We've got a lot of things. So, there are these ideas. So looking at the entirety of the spread, we have these ideas that are coming in, this inspiration, this idea, these passions of whatever that may be, maybe of your heart. It may be of something of romantic nature, something a direction that you want to take your job, your work, your life, something that you're starting to you want to invest your energy in, and it is an investment, and it is more than just a fly-by-night kind of thing. We've talked a lot about that repotting of whatever it is, and it's something that's it's going to require being slowly grown and slowly tended. Don't let it just burn out. Don't let it dry out. There is the opportunity to put this into a new pot. However, there is something that's going to have to. There looks like there's going to have to be the sun is setting on some kind of situation, and there is a Five of Cups here, and that there may be, in order to walk towards something new, something definitely has to die, and it may be really surprising, and may make you feel as though you've been pinned to the ground, but the face of this individual is looking towards the sun. It doesn't have, there are no eye, its head is turned. This is definitely like the back of somebody's head. So it's not as though, we don't see what they're looking at, but they're looking at the sun. So it could be either a sun setting or a sun rising. It's all in how you look at it. And the presence of the Magician, I feel, is, again, it's all, life is all in what you make of it. What's your magic? What's the magic? And the Magician has another sword to bring to this. It has another idea. So to me, coupled with this Five of Cups card and then this Six of Cups situation coming in, what I see is either we can look at it as a Six of Cups is you've got this innocence of a young man, a very young boy, and a young two young individuals at any rate, with a cup offering to another person. Again, with that castle in the background, castles are in the background, are in
he's a king. There's a castle here. There's a castle here. There's a castle here. There's a castle here. You can utilize all of your energies and recognize that as above, so below. You can pull on your own divinity. You can pull on, we don't need to look at things as, even though we could look at this as, yes, the sun may be setting on a situation. It may not be exactly how we thought things were going to turn out. We may have to let something go in order to to turning and look at this as a sun rising. Sun setting or sun rising, it doesn't matter. A sun setting on a situation means that the sun is just going to rise on something else, and that's where this perspective is coming in. This magician, it's all in what you want it to be. We can either sit and feel pinned down, or you can say, you know what, I'm going to take this way. And it's almost like, he has a wand of sorts, but it almost looks like a magic, like a key. You can kind of choose to take the swords out of your own back and get up and move along and, say, well, I'm going to look at these 2 cups. I still have 2 cups of the 5 that are still here, and I can fill them up and, repot this into my 2 cups and grow some flowers. There is some nostalgia. That usually a 6 of cups can also indicate some kind of nostalgia, and something from something sweet and something, things of the past. But and where, that's, and we have the 5 of cups and the 6 of cups here that came out together. So this is, we're moving from the 5 of cups into the 6 of cups. So we are choosing to at least take one of these. They've taken at least one of these 2 cups, and grown something else in them. And using the magician came out first before these guys. So definitely, we've got the opportunity to use our own magic to, grow a new garden in a new location, and to grow new memories, right? To grow a new life. And, with these young people, it indicates the coming of something, new life. There may be some defensive, activity around you, but again, all of these defenses are, that's we have the 9 of Wands. All of these defenses are, growing leaves. So, again, this is the planting of, again, the planting of these seeds into something, a richer soil, understanding that we do have an excellent legacy. We don't have to be in this kind of position where it's really our thoughts that are just getting in, that are actually making us feel pinned down. Remember, swords are thoughts, philosophies, old philosophies that are no longer serving. So look at what is working for you. Look at what you can grow and work with that. Grow instead of, instead of this being a fence, let's look at it as growing a beautiful tree. And again, coming into a sense of mastery, which is the King of Pentacles. He's at the bottom of the deck as well. And this is somebody who, lots and lots of grapes growing. Actually, so I kept thinking these were pineapples, but they're actually grapes. Grapes or pineapples, however you want to look at it. It's all abundance, and it's an example of having more than enough. And the King of Pentacles certainly has more than enough. And that's happening in the material world. It's not happening in the imagination. Again, it's only our imagination that puts us in this sense of lack. It's only our imagination that puts you in a sense of lack. And I definitely advise you to put those kinds of thoughts to the side. Don't indulge in them. Admit that they're there. Look at them. Work with them. Try to learn what they're trying to teach you, but don't indulge in them. So I'm going to give one more final card. I'm going to pull from the Spirit Animals deck. And then I thank my niece Layla for telling me about this deck, that she had it, and give me the opportunity to practice. It's always a deck I've admired. The Spirit, so this is, like I said, this is by Biddy Tarot, and the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck, which I'm pulling from right now, is by Kim Kranz. So we'll see what comes up. We'll see what comes up in this particular deck. What is the message, the commentary on this particular reading from the Spirit Animals? Thank you for your guidance. Thank you for your guidance this entire reading, and any messages that have come through for the collective for Tuesday, August. Gosh, I was about to say December 17th, so I don't know. That might be important to somebody, December 17th. But for these messages are for Tuesday, August 17th. Fire ant. So, like I said, we've got to kind of control those. But at the bottom of the deck is the oyster. So the world is your oyster. Right? It's all in how you want to use the energy. You can get really hot under the collar, or you can be a magic person. I like magic. I like being magical, right? Like what kind of magic can we work in our own lives that's therefore there to, we can offer to others. Fire ant, aggression, rigid thinking, following orders, right? Fire ant energy flares up without us noticing. It's the force that attracts us to people and situations that feed our imbalances rather than those that counter them. Gossiping and blaming are a few indicators that misaligned fire ant energy is at play. You may also find yourself, quote unquote, stewing on a person or situation, only making things worse. How can you break free from the drama and cool down? Fire ants are surprisingly sensitive. Don't pretend the heat isn't getting to you. When in balance, thoughtful, disciplined. When out of balance, argues, excessive heat, gossips. To bring into balance, solo time, walks at night. So yeah, there's that. I told you, I felt it coming when I was talking at the beginning about, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, about sometimes you have to step away from situations and just recognize that other people have their own, paths and journeys. They have they need space and time to work their stuff. Oyster, patient, secret keeper, hiding inner treasures. So these are this is kind of like that King of Cups energy and the King of Pentacles. The focus and determination of the oyster is unmatched. Anything an oyster personality puts their mind to, they achieve with grace and charm. The only problem is oyster types often take their inner gifts for granted. They become shy or doubtful, and this can lead to withdrawing or protecting their deepest desires and life's work. When the oyster card appears, it's important to reveal your inner treasures. What is it you've been hesitant to share? The world is waiting to see. When in balance, feels blessed, generous, masterful. So yeah, there's that inspiration. When out of balance, reluctant, gripping, clams up. To bring into balance, share something. So again, we have to share. We can't be gripping onto things. We have to, and that's in order to help ourselves grow just as much as anybody else. So let go and see what can come to you. Might be the best ride of your life. All right, I am going to let you go, and I love you. I'll try to come back and do a reading tomorrow night. Maybe, maybe not. But regardless, I'm glad I did this one. It's nice to be with you again. I'll talk to you soon.